Hey everyone, Gaijin Goomba here. So Ubisoft asked if I'd like to make a sponsored video talking about the cultural aspects of post-Ice Age proto-human culture to help promote their new game, Far Cry Primal. And yeah, why not? I've covered a lot of different cultures in my content, but never really had the chance to talk about Stone Age culture. Cave paintings, shamanistic practices, and wild animal taming are all really cool aspects of our prehistoric culture as a species. But the thing that interested me a whole lot were the weapons. Yeah, you'd think in a game about cavemen, combat and weapons would be really simple, right? Me get club, beat bear, make pointy rock, stab alligator. But despite what our popular culture may tell us, prehistoric weapons are a lot more complicated than that. So the question then becomes, does Far Cry Primal's selection of craftable weapons reflect our ancient history? Well, let's take a look. First, we have to define our time period. Now, according to the game, the story of Takar and the Winja tribe begins shortly after the Ice Age. And we see that their tools and weapons are primarily still bones, wood, fibers, and other naturally occurring materials. Judging from this, we're somewhere between the Mesolithic age and the Neolithic age. Already we're seeing a lot of connections between Far Cry Primal and the period it's supposed to take place in. The game does contain a few weapons and tools here and there that are still basically wood and stone, but most of them show integrations of sharpened bone and flint to reinforce as well as add damage to the weapons. Spears, axes, and clubs were more than just pointy or blunt rocks and sticks. They have additional jagged edges created by sharpened stones and bone, which many artifact weapons of the Mesolithic and Neolithic age have. But what about prehistoric ranged weapons? In Far Cry Primal, amongst throwing spears, bombs, and knives, you have traditional ranged weapons in the form of the sling and the bow and arrow. Though to be fair, it's easy enough just to bash someone's face in by throwing your club. Anywho, bows and arrows start off pretty basic. Simple shaped bows to go with fairly simple arrows. But as you level, you start making what look like composite bows that have that added punch of a stronger draw. But did Mesolithic and Neolithic man have such weapons? Well, according to my research, the earliest known bows were used in Mesopotamia around 6000 BC, but wasn't in regular use until around 4000 to 3500 BC. And this does fit within our theoretical timeline. Composite bows, however, didn't see action until around 3000 BC, which falls in the later part of the Neolithic period. But I will say this, the fact that Far Cry Primal's composite bows are in-game craftables can reflect the fact that mankind really is somewhere between the Meso and Neolithic time periods. Checks out with me, as do Far Cry Primal's slings. Heck, those have been around since the Paleolithic age, and they're even still used today, and for good reason. Ow. So we've talked about the weapons, but what about the combat techniques? I mean, in Far Cry Primal, you see Takar pulling a Robin Hood by shooting 2 arrows simultaneously at 2 different targets. Was such a thing possible that far back? Well, yeah, meet Lars Anderson. This guy's been teaching himself through ancient history the lost art of the flexible bowman. And let me tell you, through his study of ancient bowmanship, he's able to pull off some amazing rates of fire and very impressive shots. And again, these aren't new techniques either. From the side of the bow where the arrow is drawn to how archers would hold their arrows for rapid shooting, all these techniques are what ancient man used. But now we come to some of Far Cry Primal's more exotic weapons, the sting bomb, the rot bomb, and the fire bomb. Did these sort of weapons exist in prehistoric times? Could they? Well, let's talk about the sting bombs. From what I can tell, it looks like a beehive wrapped up in leather, tied so that it would break open on impact if these seams would be believed. Did prehistoric man use these to rout his enemies Wicker Man style? Well, there's not much evidence to prove these were used in the Mesolithic or Neolithic ages, but you bet your butt they were used by early man, specifically early Romans. No joke, according to the American Bee Journal's article Beekeeping in Romania, the Romans would catapult beehives right into the enemy ranks or their walled-off fortifications. I don't care what kind of armor you're wearing, you get a beehive busting on you, you're gonna have a bad time. While the firebomb and poisonous rot bomb may not have been technology that Neolithic man theoretically used, I think it's safe to say that it wouldn't take too many more generations for man to begin utilizing poisonous and flammable grenade-like weapons. After all, they're already dabbling in psychedelic drugs. But why take my word for it? Click right here to go check out the game trailer for yourself. Ubisoft did a pretty good job showing off not only the weapons and combat, but the environments and story as well. It also really shows off the beast mastery ability in game. After all, why club an enemy tribesman to death when a mammoth can do it for you? Also, click that little eye at the top right of the screen or links in the description for even more theorist videos. But until next time everyone, this is Gaijin Goomba signing out.